Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another podcast, El Punto, aka The Point, and very special guests this evening. We have Angel Ramirez and Graciela, and Compa Moncho and Lizbeth Jordan.
Es correcto, compa Conde. Otro episodio más para toda la gente aquí del Punto MN. We have a special guest aquí, la verdad, una pareja admirable.
Very honored to have you guys here, honestly. Thanks for accepting the invite.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're truly honored to have this couple here and also business entrepreneurs,
Yes.
DJs, photographers, all in one here.
All in one. And
So-
on behalf of my side, I'm like really nervous because big inspirement right here, Angel Ramirez.
Thanks. man.
Honestly, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Talking about DJ side, so it's like very honored. So yeah.
Tú tranquilo, compa Conde, tú tranquilo.
No, yeah, it's just like like Moncho said earlier, or Lizbeth Jordan said, we're new at this, so it's like still learning. So yeah.
Yep.
You guys are
And
doing a good job.
Conde and I, we've been talking a lot about this interview.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard for me and for him because, we have, like you say, Conde, one of the best DJs, one of the hottest DJ
Hottest DJs
in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and one of the best photographers here in Minnesota. Photos by Graciela.
Thank you.
So, vamos a empezar con esto, from the beginning, ¿verdad?
Yep.
¿Por qué no se presentan aquí con su público del Punto MN? Como ustedes lo quieran hacer,
Yeah,
puede
for-
ser en español, puede ser en inglés, como ustedes quieran, no hay problema.
Para los que no los conozcan, los que no sepan de ustedes, preséntense quiénes son y a qué se dedican.
Okay. You want to go first?
You can go first.
Oh, man, put me on the spot. Okay, well, I'm Graciela. I prefer to go by Chela. And I do photography. I've been doing this for the past 13 years or so and counting. Me encanta la fotografía. Tomo fotos para bodas, quinceañeras, sesiones de maternidad, headshots. Hasta me ha tocado un funeral. Can you believe that? Yeah, it was crazy. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm nervous, so I'm
what-
rambling.
What got you into photography?
This guy, actually.
He did?
Yeah.
So
well, go ahead.
It's always his fault then.
Well, yes and no. I think when we got married, we were 17 and 18, so very, very young. And I remember one day we decided that our goal was to get a camera. So we cut out a little picture of a Canon Rebel from a Best Buy ad,
Yeah.
and we put it on our mirror. Like, one day we're gonna be able to afford this. And it's not even that expensive now when you think back. It was probably like maybe $500-600 bucks.
600, yeah.
Yeah. And at that time, Angel was still DJing with his dad, doing private events. He was going to school at IPR. So he was going to school for audio engineering, hoping to do professional sound for artistas and groups and rap and hip hop and a whole bunch of other things. And I would tag along on the gigs, and I'm awkward if I don't have something to do. Like right now, I kind of want to just grab a camera just for the sake of it. But one day he came home from his day job because he was also working as a mechanic at that time with his dad and his brother. And he's just like, "Hey, I got this camera, and hey, in a week you're gonna help me do a wedding." So I mean,
So he kind of threw it at you then.
yeah, but like I'm someone that unless you force me to do something, I'll stay in my safe zone. So I need someone to push me in order to grow. And we literally went to Golden Valley to National Camera Exchange, and Angel got a external flash, and the lady gave him a crash course on how to use it. I had it on automatic, just but that basically started it. I mean, it was completely by accident in a way, but he's like, well, if we're already offering the DJ, might as well add on another service that vendors or people are going to want, and that was photography. And I ran with it, and here I am. It's my job now.
Did you go to school for that? Like afterwards, like after he
No.
kind of threw you at it?
I went to school to be an English teacher.
Okay.
I've always loved teaching, and I think to this day, whenever I'm on a shoot or something, I tend to go into my teacher mode, and I explain things like the lighting does this shutter speed does that, And I went to college to get my degree to start, to be an educator.
Yeah.
And I took a digital editing course. I ended up mostly taking point on a lot of the hands-on experiences with a professor, because there was times when he couldn't get it to sync up with a computer, and he'd be like, does anybody need it? Anybody know how to do this? And I'm like, I would raise my hand. I didn't want to be a teacher's pet, but I'm just like, I'm a teacher's pet. Let me just help him out. And I mostly took it just for Photoshop, because I needed a little extra help. I thought I was going to do like the baby photography where you put the baby on like a flower and they're like, but no, I couldn't. I took it and I learned some things, but everything that I know was basically on the job.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
hands-on, right?
Hands-on.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the best part. That's how you learn from your mistakes and all that. So that's what happened to me when I started DJing.
Mhm.
Like all the mistakes I did, I learned from them and try to improve them from my next shows and stuff like that. So.
yeah. And, Angel can probably talk a little bit more about this, but when he first started in the DJ scene way back in, when was it? When we got the foot in the door to work at Aqua, it wasn't even as a DJ. It was for video and photography.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And I learned how to do like the lighting in the worst scenario ever. There's high ceilings. The ceiling is black. Lights are going everywhere. If it wasn't for a photographer named Kuamua and Greg Nash, they're the ones that showed me how to use my flash on the job and my settings, because for nightclub photography you want to be able to expose for the ambient lighting, so you get the beautiful lights, and being able to use the lighting with like the lasers and the haze machine. You can't just put it on automatic.
Photographers hate that, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, no. Good photographers that understand lighting will use that to create something beautiful.
Exactly, yeah.
But when you're just learning, cuando estás empezando, no, like you're just like, you see the haze machine, you're just like, oh my God, how do I do this?
It's gonna make my job even harder after that.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to add something?
So no, but where were you born? Were you born here in Minnesota?
Jalisco. So I was born in Tala, Jalisco, and we lived in a little pueblito, or a ranchito, San Juan de los Arcos. And I was brought to Minnesota when I was almost 2 years old. So I've been here all my life. Okay. Yeah.
What about you, Angel?
What about Angel? How did Angel start?
Where are you coming from? Tell us, who is DJ Angel Ramirez?
So I started DJing with my dad in California. I was born in Fresno, California, and I was raised out there. My dad used to have a sonido out there. It was called Sonido Dinastía Ramirez. And I remember us buying our first DJ setup. I was 11, and we went to LA and we picked up all the gear with my grandma, and she helped my dad out with that. Hey, I'll buy you guys this DJ gear, but you guys actually got to take it serious. So, I started out with him, and we just started doing everything from baptisms, birthday parties, quinceañeras, and weddings, and every weekend, because in California it's full of Latinos everywhere, Hispanics. We even did stuff where this guy, instead of hiring a mariachi, he hired my dad to go DJ in the garage at 4 a.m.
We're just looking for an excuse to party, right?
Yeah, it was just, So I got a lot of experience with him, with all the Spanish music, and myself just growing up in California with all the rap and hip hop music. That's what I would like to practice at home, the music. But, I think my dad has a lot to do with how I, DJ the Spanish music. He taught me how to read the crowd. He was un DJ que le decían DJ Barri, like he had a good mix of everything. He just didn't play the Mexican stuff, but he would play merengue and everything in between. So I learned a lot from him. Then when I moved to Minnesota is when I started figuring out more stuff about música tropical. In where I lived in California, it was all Mexican music. You don't hear bachata, merengue, none of that stuff. So
just banda
norteñas, because my mom's from Michoacan and my dad's from Morelos. And the area we grew up, it was all people from Michoacan, maybe Jalisco, Nayarit, everything. So I can go do those weddings all day long, and they're, it's easy. I understand it. But when I came to Minnesota, I mean, I heard bachata in the background before, like some neighbor was probably listening to in California. But as far as parties, I mean, no, I never heard it. I had to learn it out here.
You wouldn't see that in parties back then?
No, never, man. They'll look at you crazy, They would even look at us crazy if we played Duranguense.
Right, yeah.
Over there, so.
Oh my gosh, Duranguense.
Yeah,
Remind me.
Oh, so you were growing up during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 32 years old. I started when I was 11, but when we moved to Minnesota is when I moved out here when I was 15. I ended my senior year here in high school. Then I went to school out here, but that was the time that Duranguense was big, you know. So, you know, I got into that, like mixing that style of music and, you know, posted on YouTube. I actually got a video on YouTube, Alacranes Musical versus Aliados de la Sierra. Yeah. That one has like 200 something thousand views. But I mean, I do a lot of cumbia mixes too and everything. But, you know, when I came to Minnesota, I would still do all the private events. And then I started slowly getting into the nightclubs because then I finally turned 18. But I think the first club or party I did, I was 15 years old, and it was at some salon in Arlington. It wasn't a real nightclub, but I was 15. The guy still gave me beer and everything. So, you know, that was one of my first experiences. But I had a good time, you know, so. And, you know, from there, it just, you know, I kept doing private parties and all, like, every nightclub that's been around. Not all of them, but good names that I remember. I did all the bad events too. I didn't just do everything, all the clubs that you see right now. So started from the bottom, and I did all the events that nobody wanted to do, you know. So
you started doing like the gigs like nobody wanted to do.
This is Burnsville, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I even DJ'd for a while in Olmeca. Do you remember?
I played there once as a band because I used to play Duranguense back then also, and then when I was DJing also I went there one time. On Mingo, I don't know if you know Mingo.
Yeah, I know Mingo. So I did a couple of events with him too. With DJ Chino, I think he's one of the first guys that gave me like he brought me into the scene. He saw me DJing with another promoter. His name was Julian, and he would do events in Northfield and Faribault and all these other odd places. He'll just rent a salon and he'll do these bailes. And DJ Chino saw me at one of them, and then this was back in MySpace. He added me on there and he's like, "Hey man, you should come check me out." And then I think they DJ'd somewhere. What was it? It was Savage, maybe? I don't remember. It was a bunch of different salons that'll do events. And then, one day he said, "Hey, man, I remember you do English music. We need a DJ that does English at Olmeca." I think he was doing like the regional. Troquero was doing like the cumbias. And they needed someone to do hip-hop. So I went there. Then I built a relationship with the owner and the manager. Then they told me to come back. And we started doing some things called Thirsty Thursdays there. And it was more English music. And then from there I was still I worked at the rodeo too on some some random Thursdays.
Like what DJ didn't play at rodeo, right?
Yeah. So the Nuevo Rodeo, so I hit up Maya too when I was in college, so I was trying to get my name out there,
Very professional. He wrote like a letter and everything.
I have one question. Have you ever been by DJ Angel? Or have you ever had another DJ name before?
Yeah, I used to go by DJ Dripping Ice.
I was right. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go with that question like right away. But I was kind of like.
Yeah. So the reason I stopped using that name is because I would meet a lot of people and they would meet me in person and they wouldn't know how to say it. So I'm like, fuck this.
Some of the names that they thought it was.
It was dumb.
It's like me. I used to go by DJ Peligroso. I'm like, and then when I started growing up, I was like, how the hell Peligroso? I'm like, what kind of name is that?
Yeah.
So that's why I went with Conde, just my last name. So.
I think I recently switched it over back when I started Mansion. I just said, fuck, I'm just going to switch it, just go by my name. And, it's easier that way, But I still run into people at the club and it's all, hey, wait, it is Drippy Nice. Shit like that. So, it's still, I ran with that for a long time. But, then I started doing weddings and I started doing like school proms, and then the teachers are all like, "Oh, what does that name mean?" And I don't even want to talk. So I just kept it simple. I kept it my name, and I'm going with that right now.
I think when you start becoming more professional in your job,
that's where I was. Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm DJ Drippy or something
Drippy,
like that,
Drippy Nice,
or DJ Snoopy or something like that. You need to, whoever that is. I don't know who that is, but if you are, good for you, Yeah. But I'm just saying, as you start becoming more professional, it's good to just have a name that reflects that. And I mean, when he switched, it even added some more professionalism even for weddings.
Right.
And then nuestros clientes are Spanish speaking and English speakers, so white, Latino, all sorts. And Angel is easier to say than Angel for some, So I mean, imagine Drippy Nice, like
so
he had to change it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like feels better, right? Like for example, me, I go by Lizbeth Jordan, and it's like it's como mi marca, and it makes me feel like you said more professional, and also it's like, oh, people are actually saying my name, you know, they actually know who I am, not just like a name behind.
At the end of the day, you become like you're your own brand, you know. So I even got my logo professionally made. So when I DJ at the current clubs that I'm at, you know, my name's all over the big screens with all that stuff. So it's, you know, people tag me on there, so that's kind of cool, you know. So I mean, it's cool seeing it on screen or on the flyers. So yeah, I mean, I went along with that, but yeah, you kind of grow in. Do I want to? It's like anybody, like rappers, and they all switch their names, you know, throughout the time. So I just said, no, I'm just gonna switch it back because some people just know me as a DJ. There's people that know me as a videographer. You know, I was a photographer too at one point. Some people, you know, some people know me as a marketer and, you know, other things that I do. So it's better like if I just brand like I do too many different things. So I'd rather just go by my name, and whoever knows me by, you know, DJ Angel, they know me by that too. So
how do you keep the energy, man, to do all that stuff, man? It's just
Good
like
question.
it's like by me, I'm only doing DJ and I do a full-time job during the week, and it's like for me, it's like I don't have time to spend time with my family or do anything else. I just want to go home and rest and sleep and recover. Like for example, like from the weekend.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from the weekend.
So what would be your advice, like to balance things out? Obviously, you have a family. You both are a business couple. Like you said, you guys have videos or videography, photography, and also DJ that comes in like one whole packet. Right? I think I've done a wedding like that with you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
We actually don't get hired together anymore.
Okay.
Every once in a while we do. You know, as time goes on, we've been doing this for 13 plus years, your prices do go up. So, I mean, a lot of people have to really budget it out to be able to afford us as a package. Even our video, he doesn't do the video anymore. He can. When is he going to sleep? Never. So we do have a video team that comes with us, and they're actually from Colombia. So, I mean, if we can get them to come, they'll come for special events. But, you know, I'll help direct, and I just have to tell them something, and they run with it. They're like the guy versions of me, you know? So, I mean, it's so much fun working with them because I love him, you know, but he's more serious, you know? He's just the complete opposite of me, where I'm out there. Come on, I got pink hair, you know? He's very like he's very grounding and
More mellow.
Yeah, way more mellow, and so his vision, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, and when he edits a certain way, it's the way that he wants to see it, and you might not be able to, you know, see it until it's all put together. And if I tell him something, it's a conflict of ideas, you know, because he has a very different vision than what I do. So I mean, I just kind of have to like let him do his thing. And with the video team, their energy matches mine, and I just gotta tell them, hey, you see that over there? And they're like, yeah, vamos. I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. And if it was Angel, he'd be like, okay, hold on, let me get ready and go. So I mean, he can just now focus on doing what he wants to do. So if it's music, eso es un trabajo también igual de grande, porque tiene que hablar con los clientes y asegurarse que la música es lo que ellos quieren y no nomás lo que el DJ quiere poner. Y también asegurarse que los nombres sean los nombres que son, porque nos ha tocado fiestas donde el DJ se les olvida el nombre de los novios.
It's happened,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't happen, but it does happen, you know? So, I mean, if he has one thing to focus on, which is already something big, then we have to delegate because you can't do everything.
So we used to think we could do everything, and that was like before the pandemic. I was trying to do everything, you know, the DJing, the promotions. What else was I doing for the videography? And I was doing a couple of other things, and you can't balance it out. I was moving too fast. You know, I think at that time I was doing, you know, Mansion on Fridays. And then we also did another Friday in Rochester, and that was called, it was in a rooftop. And then we moved to a hotel. So I was doing 7 on Saturday. So I was doing like 4 events a weekend.
Oh, Union too.
Yeah,
right?
in Union. I started adding Thursday. So I was thinking, I'm going to try to do every night of the week something different. And it was working, but, I would get no sleep or anything. So
Yeah.
once the pandemic hit, I'm like, no, screw this. I have to reset myself. And in between all that, I was still doing weddings,
Yeah.
so like, I'm like, no, I
and
can't.
then it's like the weddings, you have to be there. Like you're like the first person there,
And
and
the
like the last
Yeah.
to leave the
Yeah.
the party. So it's like
So I just made some adjustments after, during the pandemic. When I went back to the nightclub, like we were the last ones to open up, at Rain. I came with something new. I'm like, forget all those other places, I'm starting from scratch. And, we went with Rain, and, that's all I did. And then I still had a few weddings last year. And for me, I told Chela, this year I'm only going to do max 10 weddings because this is too much, for me to try to balance out, even with 2 nights at the club and then with the weddings. So I'm pretty much, if people are calling me for weddings, I have to make sure the client matches, like, well, okay, what kind of music do you want? And if they tell me and if it fits what I like, then, we'll move forward with it. And if not, then I'll be like, I don't think I'll be the right fit for you.
Yeah.
So at most, I have 7 this year, 7 weddings, and I'm still freaking out about it. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I already have over 100 events for nightclubs, over two events a week, and then not including the special events that we're gonna do. So for me, that's already a lot of work. And then so I'm taking a hit on my wedding business for DJing and also with video. I'm not gonna be doing video anymore either. I'm gonna go. My last wedding is in October, that I'm actually gonna film. But we'll still offer it with my other guys that can do it. But me myself, I can't do it no more. It's just too much work.
too much
I
work.
think I'm your second shooter for that too.
Yeah,
since
yeah,
it's
so-
video.
Yeah, es que como dicen, los años no pasan en balde. So it's like the older you get.
Pero yo sí quiero decir algo que Angel Ramirez hace unos días en una entrevista con Latin Evolution Radio mencionó que me gustó mucho y lo he estado guardando porque lo quiero sacar en esta entrevista. Él dijo, when they're sleeping, you gotta keep working. Entonces, Conde y yo trabajamos juntos. Una vez en un Monday, yo le dije, güey, ¿viste al Angel? Después de Rain se fue al gimnasio. Yo dije, eso, qué chingón. It was like 3 in the morning, he was in the gym. So I was like, ¿cuándo duerme?
Yeah, that's the weird stuff. Like, so in the pandemic, I managed to drop from 285 to like 225. And I've never been naturally a big guy, but you go up and down.
You get married, the
yeah.
good life.
So then
Mucho amor.
the last couple of months, during Rain, I was starting to creep back up. I got on the scale and it said 248. And I'm like, shit, I got to get back on it. I don't want to jump back all the way to 285. So when I came back from the Bad Bunny concert in Chicago, I said, all right, I'm gonna start taking it serious again. I mean, I'm just gonna focus, and I started going, and right now I'm already down 20 pounds, like but consistent, man. I'm like, shit.
Congrats, man.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of guts, man. It takes a lot of
Yeah.
motivation. Where'd you get the motivation to like go to the gym, start and
I mean,
on the top of all the things you do?
you have to make time for yourself, because if you make time for everything else, but you don't make time for yourself, like your health, then nothing else will function. Everybody tells me, Angel, you should go in the morning, before your day starts, and I'm wired differently.
It's because of the nightlife.
Because of the nightlife, I feel like I have to stay awake, because Fridays and Saturdays I'm up. The club finishes at 2. By the time I leave, it's 3. I live an hour from there, so I get home at 4. I stay up till 5 looking at people's stories and just see what's going on. And then that's part of the reasons why I don't want to do weddings anymore. If I get to sleep in Friday, if I sleep at 5, and if I maybe get to sleep until 10, because then our kids wake up, that feels good to me, and then I don't have to get up till 12. But if I have a wedding, and that happened to me last year, it's 5 a.m., the trailer's already loaded, I wake up and I make sure everything's loaded, and then
You double check all.
double check everything. Then we have to drive, everything's far from us. So, sometimes we have weddings in Wisconsin, Stillwater. So everything, like you said, we're the first ones there. And if we do the sound for the ceremony, so we got to be there at 11 or 12 in the morning. 12 p.m. We set everything up, ceremony at 3, and then you do the DJing at 5 all the way till midnight. So then I'm like dead on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'm like, shit, so.
In church.
in
Yeah.
church
He's
sleeping.
recording and he's like,
Oh yeah, so that's why I always tell Chella when we do videos, when like the last ones we do, I wear sunglasses, so I'm just in there like that. But
and I have to like walk behind
Kinda
him
like
and,
the-
try
like the
not give
Homer
him a
style.
nudge.
yeah. I try not to sleep, but that's been so tough for me. So, and then what I've been doing lately, the helpers that I take for DJing. So when I'm done DJing at these weddings, I grab my laptop, or sometimes I even leave it and I go straight to rain.
Yeah.
So I get to rain at
Damn.
12:30, and I finish up. I have a group of team, so my team.
You
I
gotta
have
delegate.
I have 2 DJs, but it's just hard to try to do everything. So I'm like, I'd rather just do one thing. Right now, I'll focus on nightlife. Do a couple of weddings. For people that are willing to pay the price for it,
Yeah.
and that also gonna match. If they want to hear everything we play at the club, and Mexican music and a little bit of hip hop or something in between those lines, then I'll definitely do their wedding. But if they want, sometimes I do American weddings where they just want country music,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be boring for me. I don't want to sit there doing country.
Those
So at the clubs, do you still get behind the decks?
Yeah. So
I mean, I haven't been there. Last time I was there, I was turning 31.
mhm.
I was mansion back then.
Oh yeah, yes.
It was mansion back then, so it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
3 years ago. So last time I was there. It was funny. 'Cause, I mean, I didn't see you, or I
Mhm.
think you were at the patio or something. Because I turned.
Oh yeah, we had two. So when it was mansion, it was downstairs at the vault. That was 18
Oh,
plus.
okay.
And then upstairs was the older, 21 plus. So it was 2 parties. The 21 plus can go downstairs, and so I still DJ, but I have two DJs that I would hire, because it would be 2 DJs in different spots. But part of being a promoter and doing all the promotion stuff, you also have to be talking to people, talking to your clients, selling tables, doing all of that stuff.
You're
So
a host.
yeah, you're a host at the end of the day. So that's part of what I do. Is not just the DJ no more. That's not even my main focus anymore. I have 2 DJs that I trust there, and they take care of all of that. But so, for example, on a Friday night, if we're pretty much sold out every weekend, but say there's like a table or 2 that needs to be sold, we're out there walking around. We find groups of people and we just sell it. Once all my tables are sitting down and they're having a good time, and it's midnight, I'm like, okay, everybody's in. It's already packed in here. Then the guys are DJing. I usually throw a set around 12:30.
Okay.
And it's pretty much the prime time. I'll go
Yeah.
in there, and sometimes I take my computer, and sometimes I just use theirs, and just go in there and DJ. Because at the end of the day, I like doing it. I have fun doing it, and I just play all the hits, and that's pretty much it. But I still enjoy it. I still have my mixer set up at home, and when I get a chance, I just plug it in and play.
At 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll just start DJing.
So you would say your dad was your high inspiration
Yeah.
to get to getting into DJing, or?
Yeah, because I started out with him, and he got me well-rounded with at least with the Mexican style music and merengue. And even when we because our family opened up 2 restaurants already, so even my dad now, we used to do all the private events that I did. My dad used to go with me still till this day.
Your dad used to be doing the contracts.
Yeah. My dad started on, then I kind of slowly took over, but he would go with me to all of them, and he'll look. He's like, "Hey, ya pon, cumbia, or put something, So that always. So when I go DJ by myself, I'm like, I could hear him in the back of my head, like, play this or play that, because he did that to me since I was young. But yeah, he was one of my inspirations. And then DJs that I would listen to on the radio. In California, you can actually listen to the radio, and there's DJs mixing on there.
Nice.
So
Yeah, that's what I like.
yeah, I never hear that here, but I mean, it's a different time now. I mean, everybody listens to stuff on their phone, so it's different.
So Chela, I know that you're an entrepreneur, a wife, a beautiful mother,
Thank you.
a photographer, because I've worked with you for a few times already. So tell us, how do you balance that out? I mean, as a female, like as a woman, I'm like, oh my God, like how does she do it, What advice do you give all these girls out here, even me?
Lots of coffee.
Yeah.
That's
Caffeine.
this one, 2 espresso shots. Yep. Well, no, like on a serious note, having a partner that supports you is one of the biggest main things. Like if you're married, because there's a lot of women that are entrepreneurs that do this on their own, and I can only imagine how tough that must be. You have to have a partner that is constantly pushing you. And if you feel uncomfortable, you're on the right direction, because you have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. Like when we first started, how he's just like, here's the camera, and we got a wedding next week, learn. you can't just, back away from challenges. You have to face them straight on. And I know for me, it's been tough just because like I didn't have a lot of that support with like my own family. So when I did get married, when Angel and I got married, we were 17 and 18, babies, little. I was a senior in high school. Yeah.
Sweethearts.
So, yeah. Well, no, he was actually in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in college and I was a senior in high school. So he was going to school and for his audio engineering, and I was just, trying to finish high school. I remember like having to waitress, or I would clean houses, I would make food, whatever it took to make some money for ourselves. And then when the opportunity arose for me to do photography and pursue that, I took it and ran with it. Like I was shooting sessions for like $30 way back in the day. And I remember getting so booked and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to keep up with this? But Angel's just like, you know what? You have to raise your prices. And that was like one of the biggest things that throughout these years, if you have too much work, then a way for you to slow it down is to raise your prices. So then people are going to value your service more. When I got pregnant with my son Isaac, I was working at a factory in Rockford and doing my weddings and sessions on the side. Pregnancy is really tough on a woman. And I had to make the decision, is it my health and my child, is our health more important than me working a day job? So I had to make that decision to quit. And that's when Angel's just like, well, we have to come up with a plan. You have to make this work. We have to make this work. I was shooting weddings up until like 2 weeks before I gave birth. But I ended up making more money on my side business than I did on my main one. And I think that kind of helped us as a couple, because he was always pushing me, I was always pushing him, and not in a way where it's like it's forcing you, like you want to do better. You want to do better for your spouse, for your family. And even to this day, like when people ask our kids, what do your parents do? Well, Isaac, well, my mom takes pictures of people. And it just sounds so simple,
Yeah.
But for a child. And then he'll tell people randomly at the park, my dad makes a lot of money, he DJs, he plays music. And so, I mean, that just feels good to hear that he doesn't have parents that are miserable doing their 9-to-5 jobs where there's no happiness there. We're able to provide for our families doing what we love. One of the biggest things that I've learned is you can't do it all. So, I mean, I know, Angel, like, you're working while everybody sleeps. You gotta sleep, okay? Mm-hmm. You do gotta sleep. Like, you have to take care of yourself. And one of the big things is going to therapy. If you're going to the doctor to take care of your body, it should not be stigmatized to also take care of your mental health. Mm-hmm. And, women go through postpartum. I know I did with my kids, and it was hard to balance my home life, my professional life, and being an efficient mom. So, I mean, being able to know when you need help and seeking that out without feeling bad, and having a spouse that is always there for you and not like, I don't know, like making it little, like, actually taking it serious when, like, I don't feel good today, take care of the kids. Because there's like that machismo in our culture where it's like, no, la mujer tiene que hacer todo, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you can't be like that when you're a business owner, because like we're both working. We both have to keep the home clean. We both have to help with making meals. We both have to be there to raise our children. Mm-hmm. We have a girl and a boy. So, I mean, you can't just put that example of like the women have to bend over backwards for everyone and every little thing. It has to be equal, And our son is able to see that he has a mom that is working, a dad that is working, that helps around the house. And that's important, because you don't want to raise kids that are shackled to these traditions that no longer serve you, especially now when more women are working. More women can make more money than their husbands, and their husbands can stay home, like, it happens. I mean, it hasn't happened yet for us because we both like what we're doing.
you
But
enjoy it.
during the pandemic, he was working, he was helping in his parents' restaurant, and throughout that time, we had to, I had to go back to helping serve for orders because we were still doing takeout. I couldn't shoot. It was that
that nobody can go
nobody
outside
could work or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
Quarantine.
we were in, that's what it is. I couldn't think.
Quarantine.
And I remember that as soon as it was lifted, I could go back doing work, but Angel chose not to because it wasn't like Rain wasn't ready. So I mean, that's where like true loyalty lies. Like he waited and he built up this nightclub from behind the scenes. So during that time, I had to step up my game, and I was with my photography. I was able to provide enough for both of us. So I mean, then I ended up getting sick. I ended up having a brain stent.
I remember that.
Well,
So I
you
mean,
should tell them about what you had to do. Like you switched your business model because the Latino culture, everybody, at least in America, is used to, if someone takes pictures for you, they want the digitals,
yeah.
and like solo quiero una foto, or etc. So she had to switch to IPS, and so that's where she takes the photos. And you have to come in and you have to choose the photos, and then what's the final format? Are you getting prints? Are you getting albums? So for when she switched her business model to that, she it went crazy just with that. So it means she was able to work less and make more, and we don't put pressure on clients. Like it's up to the client. Like if she would take pictures of your family, you would come into her studio and she would show you all the images. She would also give you the pricing list, and you choose what you want. As some people, and everybody's budget's different. You can go anywhere from, I only need one item that's $150, or I'm gonna get this package that's $5,000.
So I mean, changing my business model, what I would make in a wedding, busting my ass off the whole entire day, I can make what I make in a wedding in one session. So I mean, being able to change my business model and get the education and the mentorship that I needed from like a studio mate, that made my business blow up in a big way, where people valued my service, and I was able to provide for our family during that time up until I got sick. And then when I got really sick, I'm still kind of recovering from that a bit. But Angel did the nightclub thing, and he's just like, if you don't need to go back to work if you don't want to, like, I got us. And that felt great because I had him when he couldn't,
Yeah, the support.
and so I mean, it's amazing having that support. I mean, and I could just be a stay-at-home wife, like, Mom.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Kind of nice, kick up my shoes. But like, I love what I do, so I mean, I can't. That's not an option for me. It's there when I need it, if I needed it. But we both really enjoy what we do, so it wouldn't be fair to just give up,
Ok, entonces ahora que están diciendo que ustedes aman lo que hacen, una pregunta un poco más personal. Si no fueran fotógrafo y o video maker o DJ, ¿qué les hubiera gustado ser aparte? ¿Cuál sería como otro sueño de ustedes dos?
Maestra o psicóloga. Yeah.
What about you, Angel?
I think I would have just still been in marketing and like advertisement, because I'm really good at that. So, I mean, I'm doing it now, but I started as a DJ, but I think I would still be involved in marketing and advertisement because every business needs it. So, yeah.
And
So-
you do that too, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I already do
that's
that.
another thing that he does.
Yeah, I do. I run ads for people, like for other businesses. So if you need leads for, like, if you're a real estate agent, I can get you leads. For restaurants, get more foot traffic in there. For anything, any kind of business, I know how to get you more. It costs money to, you have to have a budget for the ads, and then you have to have a budget for my monthly fee. But when you're a business, you got to invest in that. So you got to tell me, okay, so are you trying to get traffic to your page? Are you trying to sell a product? Do you need to get more leads? So those are things that I go over with people. I don't do it as much no more, but then I do it for all of our stuff too. But when in the pandemic, that's another thing that I did. I did ads for a lot of people, a lot of other businesses, and it works. So all the ads for Facebook and what is it, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. I know how to do all that stuff pretty. And I did a lot of tests. What works, what doesn't work. Because you can only do so much with spamming, you know, like on social media.
Yeah.
You put your flyer. I do it all the time still. It's still effective. It still works. But if you want your flyers to, you know, come out on new faces that don't follow you, it's gonna say sponsored and it's gonna show whatever it is, and then they can follow you. So you know you got to spend a little bit of money on that.
Yep.
So I mean, those are little things that I think I would probably go towards that kind of career. You know.
Nice. So tell us a little bit more about how your DJing transition to videographer, photographer, when you started at Aqua, or was that the first, or like a main nightclub?
Like a residency?
Yeah.
So I had that little residency at Olmeca. I don't remember how long it was. And then what else did I have? And then during that time, I was still doing the mobile DJing.
Yeah.
And then we picked up, like I said, we picked up a camera. And then we bought a video camera. It was like a big video camera like that. And same thing, you know. So I think a benefit that we had for our, at least photography and video business, was that I was already in business doing DJing.
Okay.
So anytime people called us for DJing, I would say, ¿Ya tienen fotógrafo? Or ¿Ya tienen
Oh, you would ask them?
Yeah, so it was an upsell from there. So for the beginning part of our, you know, our photography and video career, I would always plug us in, and you know, you can get everything as a package, you know, all 3 services, you know, you pay one company and that's it. And so I was always doing video, even since a kid. You know, my parents had the video camera. I'd always carried one around. So
I had a little Kodak one.
It was just a little, you know,
ones.
I did it like a hobby. I would record all my old gigs, like when we go DJing. I wish I still had all of them, but I got some older ones too. So then once I started taking it more serious, you know, I invested on like the MacBooks and everything, and just started editing. There's a Latino videographer that actually helped me out, and he's still around, and he's still shooting a lot of people's videos. His name is Adrián de la Rosa. And you guys know him?
Yeah.
Hey man, he's like a legend here. Like he does like all the Latino, he does all the Latino weddings. And when I was starting out, my parents, I think, hired him for their 50th. Well, 50th, it's the 25th. My bad. Yeah. They're 50 years old right now.
They're gonna watch us and be like, what?
Yeah, but you know, from there, you know, I would ask him questions like, hey, how do you export something? And he'll be on the phone with me. Look, click here. If that doesn't work, do this. And he walked me through everything. I didn't know how to print out the DVD covers. I would pay him to do it for me. And he'd just say, hey, look, just take this file and do it. So, you know, in the beginning, there's going to be people that aren't going to want to teach you. And then you're always going to find someone that's going to be willing to help you. And you remember those people, you know. And then later on, as I got good, I started taking classes for like videography for like weddings, like cinematic style. Because everybody in the Latino culture gets that traditional long, you know, video. You sit down and you watch the whole church. You watch 3 hours of dancing and people eating food. So when I took
at the quinceañeras, when they're doing the makeup or the
all of that,
all that stuff, like 5 a.m. or something like that.
No.
So I started watching these American guys that do like American weddings, and then he offered a course, and he came to Minneapolis. He goes by Ray Roman, and his videos, when you watch him, is like you're watching a movie. And I want to learn that. So once I took some classes with him, and I started changing up my style. And once from there, people are like, whoa. I'll put the video up, and people will call it, yo, I want a video like that for my wedding or my quinceañera. And I think that helped us stay fresh. And I was doing that when, you know, you got to know your market. You got to know the competition that's out there. And nobody was offering that back then. And I don't really look for it, but I still don't see a lot of cinematic style videos for Latinos. I don't see it, you know. And it's just it's a bummer that there's not that many people that do it.
Well, yeah, you quit.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of work. This last video, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Chela shared it.
I did. I saw it.
That 6-minute video took me 8 hours to edit. And I sat down for 8 hours, and guess what time I slept?
Did you even sleep?
No. So what was I doing? I did like the short documentaries throughout the day, like the little, like the edit, you know, syncing up the audio and everything. That's pretty fast. But the creative edit, like for the cinematic style, we got home. She was in her studio. I was at the restaurant, and we stayed there till midnight. And then when I got home, we like, let's clean up for a bit. And I think 12:30, kids are asleep. I sat on my computer, and I edited from 12:30, and then just sat there, did all the stuff that I already knew how to do. When I looked at the clock, when I was finally done exporting, I looked and it was almost 7 in the morning.
And I was up. I had to leave. I don't know what I had to do, but I had to leave to, I think I had a consult that day in the morning. And I'm like, did you sleep? He's like, no, I'm just going to bed.
Yeah.
You know, well, I got to go.
And that's the thing with that, you know, I rather not do it no more than I don't like half-assing a job. So that's why I stayed up, you know, and I just wanted to make sure it looks good, go through it. And I'm like, it just takes too much work. And I'm like, I mean, the passion's not, I mean, when I did the video, I liked how it turned out because I put the story together. You got to put a story together. If you just put, for a wedding, if you just put a song in the background, ponme una canción de banda MS, and it's just like a music video, and it's, it gets boring. So so I get the microphones, I put it on the priest, I put it on the groom.
Oh, all that production stuff.
Yeah, I do all that. When we get to the salon, if it's a different DJ, if it's not us, I go up to the DJ and I let him know, hey, look, I got this little recorder. I need to just, you know, tap into your system, and I still have all those skills. The most important thing about making a cinematic video is to get good audio. So once you put the video together, you lay it all out, you choose your song, then you got to license the song. It can't be a mainstream song. It has to be. They'll take it down. Yeah, they'll take it down right away. Then I have to go through the video and find like good parts. And then I start piecing it together, and it's a lot of work, man.
I recently saw a podcast that people always look for a better audio than video. Like, they'll catch your attention more if it has a better quality audio than a video. So it's like, so what you're saying, when you go to the DJ and you get the quality audio, it's gonna catch people's attention. So
and then sometimes it depends. You know, some of them don't got good mixers or any of that. Then a lot of noise comes through. So there's little things that you have to know. Like, if they have a decent microphone, you're not gonna get the audio outside the mixer. You're gonna go. Sometimes a microphone has that XLR and a 1/4 inch. Then you'll just tap into the 1/4 inch into your recorder, and you're actually going to get the signal of the microphone before it gets to the mixer. So if he has a special effect like a sonidero and all that stuff, I'm actually going to get the dry vocal, the normal one, and then I'll be able to edit it. There's no how can I say, feedback or anything. So and if they don't have none of that, I have to tape a recorder on their microphone, and you know, but it works. You know, so
sometimes when we have to do the church, a veces los padrecitos or the pastors, they might not want us to make them up. So then we have to like brainstorm, okay, put it by this speaker or put it over here, hide it over here.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It all matters.
Like the way we shoot videos for weddings, it's a lot of work. Like we've done, like then when we go just to a party and I see other videographers, I try not to judge or anything. Yeah, but really I don't see they put the same effort. They show up to put the camera on a tripod and they just shoot. And you know, same thing with lighting. I like, you know how you guys have the cool lighting here. When we get to the salones, we set up like our spotlights, and you know, I turn them on a little bit. As the night goes on, I start turning it up a little bit so people don't get bothered by the light. But you don't want to just have an LED light right in front of your video camera, because then it just looks flat. And then, you know, you shoot them from the certain sides, and then people get shadows and the skin tone. So yeah, it's a lot of work, man. But maybe later on in life, I'll go back doing wedding videos. But for now, I'm just focused on the nightclubs.
Maybe just edit them, please.
So talk about a little more about the nightclubs, like the transition from Aqua to Mansion.
Oh yeah,
how was that?
So I had the opportunity to go to Mansion. I got offered to go to Mansion, I think around February, and I kind of declined because everything was going really good at Aqua. Everything was, you know, everything was built up. I built my night there from 2013. So it's from 2013 all the way to almost, I don't even remember, I think it was 2018. And then summer came around and I was offered it again. Hey, you should definitely, you know, take this opportunity. You know, it's something new. And I'm like, man, everything's going good over here. And I don't know, I sat down and I just, you know, wrote down the pros and cons, you know, and then something clicked in my head like, well, it is new. We are introducing a patio. It's in Uptown. And that was a scary part too. Are people really going to come and support, or are people just at Aqua because it's Aqua, you know? And I wanted to test myself and, you know, if the promoting and the brand that I've been building worked. And I remember till this day, you know, I left, when I left Aqua, the week later we opened up at Mansion, and they never had a Latino night there at all. It was all English music. The first night, we had a line almost by McDonald's.
I remember that.
And it was I guess I can say it was almost an overnight success, but it doesn't really happen like that all the time. Some people, if you go to a new spot, it's gonna take months to build up. So that happened overnight. Like, I took the crowd that I had over there and I moved it over. Like, I called all my VIP clients, and at Mansion you had all the tables inside, which were 10, and then you had all the tables in the patio. Back then the patio tables were smaller. That night we sold out the grand opening, and it was like 45 tables, like all sold out. And that was me in 1 week picking up my phone, calling all my VIP clients. Hey man, just letting you know. Yeah. I don't know if you saw on Facebook or not, but I'm not gonna be at Aqua no more. I got a new, something. But yeah, once I went to Mansion, everything was good there. We had two levels, the inside and the patio. And then in the winter we just went inside. And then I started exploring. Like I said, I wanted to try different places. I'm like, well, this is going good. Let me try something in downtown at Union with Junito. I did that. Me and him did a couple of Thursdays together. And then I was doing stuff in Rochester on Fridays and Saturdays. And it was going good. I'll send my DJs out there. And how, I bring back about the marketing, the advertisement. I was able to do parties in Rochester without physically being there. And just by doing doing ads online. But it does help, from a lot of this, it all goes together. Like, the relationships that I built doing weddings or quinceañeras, at one point in time, they either went to the club or they're starting to go to the club. So when I had that opportunity in Rochester, I thought back, okay, I have these 2 or 3 clients that I know from there, and I reached out to them, and I say, hey, there's gonna be this new club out there, and invite all your friends. And so you have to know a little bit of people through, then the rest was through social media. And then I tried to do the stuff in downtown, and then the pandemic happened. So once the pandemic happened, I took that whole 1 year off. I was offered Rain with the new with the owner of the building, and it was just, the rest is history from there, man. Like, it's definitely a great partnership. The owners there. He's owner operator, and it's crazy. The production that was brought into Rain, everything was built from scratch. So there's still people that want to come out to Rain. Is like, oh, yo fui cuando era 3 años atrás. And it's not the same, It's not even close. And so I still have to convince people to come check it out, because they still think is what Mansion was. Okay. And it's not. The upstairs.
That's the idea you have, because that was the last time I was there. Was when it was Mansion, because I have my own gigs also, so I can't go out.
So it's not the same. Now we're upstairs on Friday nights, and that upstairs is remodeled, beautiful, and it looks kind of like Vegas in there. Really high, like really high end video walls, lasers. I think we have 28 moving heads, and then we got CO2 coming from the ground, special effects, and it connects all to the patio. Like the premium bottle service, everything from like when they bring out the presenters, everything's really like premium. And on Saturdays, I got offered my second night right from the beginning. I'm gonna do Fridays and I'm gonna do Saturdays, and I was doing Saturdays downstairs where people knew that's how people knew Mansion. The vault. So that's downstairs from Rain. So on Fridays I do upstairs, and then Saturdays I do downstairs. And we get a lot of people that go to Rain on Fridays because it's a bigger room. In the summer we can average between 800 to 1,000 people. And right now in the winter, when slows down a bit, we get between 500. That's still a big crowd. It's still a big crowd. Last week was like our first, I think, because it's spring. We had like 700 people. So it's starting to pick back up.
You know what they say when you first start. That's not the hardest part when you start. It's maintaining. Maintaining the crowd. People going there every single weekend. That's the hardest part, I'd say.
It's about being consistent. Like you have to. That's why if I think I had a day job, I wouldn't be able to concentrate as much. Like Mondays are my flyer days. I do all the flyers. I get everything out of the way. And then I check whose birthdays they are. I hit people up with their birthdays. I do my text blast. I do an email blast. So, it's a lot of work. People, they just think, Friday just happens on its own. No, you got to put a lot of work in during the week. You have to all this to-do list. And then once, you book everything during the week, like, oh, it's my birthday. We book all that stuff. Then when Friday comes around, either we're sold out, we have a couple of tables. But the GA crowd, we built it very consistent where we can we can be, how can I say, confident that people will come out, but you never want to relax, And that's one thing that I always tell my team, like my guys, my DJs and my promoters and everybody. I'm like, hey guys, you guys can't relax. You always
can't get comfortable.
You can't get comfortable. Every week is a new week, and it's not, it's not going to be the same. So it's always a challenge, So I don't like getting comfortable. So.
No, pero la neta, felicidades, porque nosotros en Instagram, every weekend vemos pack el Rain. La verdad es como dicen, el hardest club, Latino club en Minneapolis o Minnesota. Y se ve bien chingón las luces, las pantallas, los VIPs.
It's like a Vegas vibe.
Yeah.
¿Y cómo le haces, Angel, para mantener porque sabemos que va gente de diferentes culturas, sabemos que van colombianos, puertorriqueños, dominicanos, mexicanos. ¿Cómo le haces tú como un DJ para planear una noche de latino y no nada más cansar a la gente con el mismo tipo de música?
Pues lo que yo hago, y más que nada, nunca digo en la internet que es una noche 100% latino. Yo lo hice un estilo diferente de la música que a mí como DJ me gusta, y si a la gente que va le gusta, pues va. Entonces nosotros tocamos, pues ahorita como que está de momento, pues mucho reggaetón, mucho dembow. Como yo soy mexicano, tocamos cumbias sonideras. Un poquito de bachata y casi nada de salsa.
Una canción.
Pero con todos esos ritmos latinos metimos hip hop, porque es otra cosa que yo crecí escuchando.
Yo he visto unas oldies, cuando ponen las oldies, la gente se vuelve loca.
Las de Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, pero tocamos lo más nuevo, lo que está saliendo ahorita, y como de Drake, Cardi B. Y van muchos clientes y se acercan al DJ booth y dicen, oye, ¿por qué están poniendo esta música? Es parte de lo que tocamos en la noche. Mi flyer nunca dice 100% latino. Los sábados hice algo diferente. Los sábados es en el sótano y allí abajo sí es 100% música latina. Pero igual va a ser reggaetón, dembow, cumbias sonideras, merengue y bachata y a little bit of salsa, y es todo. Y eso hace las dos noches que sean diferentes. Pero cuando llega la gente, sí le gusta lo que tocamos. Porque es bien duro que vendas botellas y mesas VIPs con música 100% tropical. Es muy duro. Y yo he calado, y en mis eventos, yo he traído a Hugo Huerta, a Cachorro y a todos. No los ha traído a Rain, pero los ha llevado a mis otros eventos que ha tenido. Por el concepto que yo tuve, era muy diferente lo que ellos están acostumbrados. Me dicen, que 2 horas. Like, no, bro, vamos a hacer media hora y es todo. Porque lo que yo miro, la gente, y los van a soportar ellos muchos. A Hugo Huerta tiene mucho soporte, Cachorro. Llega mucha gente, las botellas que ellos compran, bucanas y todo. Lo que he notado es, si tocábamos más de una media hora, las colombianas, los otros se van o dicen, Entonces, por a mí me gusta traerlo porque es mi cultura, a mí me gusta, y para los special teams y todo. Creo que lo va a hacer este año también.
Bueno, pues ahí está la invitación. Ya saben, los Friday night es Rain y los sábados es abajo en el sótano de Ball. Sí. Para toda la gente de Minnesota, si no han ido, tienen que ir a vivir la experiencia, compa DJ Conde. ¿A poco no?
Ahí vamos a estar. Sí. So, Angel, you have this new project coming up. It's called Vanquish. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did that idea came up, or I don't know, just tell us.
So yeah, Vanquish is gonna open up pretty soon. So I don't know when this video comes out, but we're gonna announce it here first. It's gonna open up. We're gonna have our invite only party on April 16th, which is on a Saturday. And that's going to be only invitation. So if you don't got an invitation, you guys can't get in. But I'm going to send you guys an invitation.
Right. You're invited.
Yeah, you guys are invited. We like to do that. Just the same concept we did at Rain. It's with the same owners and everything. So it all ties together. We like doing the invite only party because, we invite everybody. It's exclusive. Everybody wants to go where they can't get in. And when we did that at Rain, we had like 600 people show up on the invite only. So and we sold out all the tables. Same thing right now with Vanquish. I've been mentioning to a lot of my clients, and I'm almost sold out on all the tables. And it's just going to be an invite only. So if people don't know what Vanquish is where Aqua used to be, Aqua Nightclub. So donde eran las noches latinas los viernes, that's where it's going to be at now. So in downtown Minneapolis. So the whole concept is we have the Vault Saturdays right now, the Atrévete Saturdays. This Saturday is going to be our last Saturday there, and
which is the
April 9th will be our last, so the final day at the vault. So we're gonna move our Saturday night over to downtown. So we're gonna have big night on Fridays at Rain, which is we're gonna remain there, and then Saturday we're gonna go to downtown Minneapolis and try to do the same thing we're already doing at Rain on Fridays. It's gonna be big.
So what new ideas do you have for Vanquish? I mean, is there something a little premiere you can give us or something like that?
It's gonna be different from Rain. We want it to be different, and it's definitely not in the same area.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in downtown.
There is. Yeah.
We're definitely gonna offer something in downtown that nobody has seen, and it's everybody's just gonna have to find out at the invite only.
Yep.
Once the invite only party comes, everybody's gonna start posting their stories, and they're gonna be whoa. So it's not gonna look like Aqua. It's gonna look different. It's everything.
The aesthetic is completely different.
Yeah, everything is built from scratch,
Okay.
and the production is like crazy, man. So it's gonna be something exciting. Same thing we did at Rain. We didn't post pictures before. We just build it up, as the day people go for the invite only, that's the first day everybody's gonna see it. So it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be a Latin party there on Saturday. It's gonna be 21 plus. We don't have dress code, so that's good. So people want to come out and they're worried about if they can wear a hat or if they can wear certain kind of shoes. We don't have a dress code at Rain, or there's not gonna be a dress code at Vanquish either.
Which was really, really popular back then, right? Like dress codes were really strict.
Dress to impress.
Yes.
I remember.
People wouldn't even be able to get in.
Yeah,
Like,
that happened to him once.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the shoes or
Yeah.
Or the hat.
Yeah. So we don't, we believe in having better character than how you're dressed.
Yeah.
As long as you're respectful when you come in, anybody's welcome. So
Yeah, that's what I like about the new owner. He treats everyone like they're important, from the barbacks to the DJs to the people that are working, even securities. They're not assholes. They're nice.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it all matters, and like that's one of the things that I like the most about Angel working with this new owner. He's a really, really nice guy, and he has like this attention to detail. So I feel like people that are gonna go to Vanquish, they're gonna associate it with Aqua, but as soon as they go in there, the aesthetic is completely different. The
I think that's what people have the idea, 'cause that's what people have the idea about if they ever went to Aqua.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be the same thing. So it's like.
And what's crazy, me working at Mansion when it was Mansion, and now that it's Rain, I lost all my flashbacks of Mansion. I feel like that's
you reset.
Yeah, it's all reset. And same thing right now when I'm going into Vanquish and we're working on lighting and programming, I don't even see it as Aqua no more.
Okay.
And even for me being from 2013, and I had a lot of good memories there, and I DJ'd there with my guy DJ Fabulous. He brought me in there when I was in 2013 to be a resident with him. So what's kind of cool is that we're gonna go back to downtown where kind of where it all started, that long residency,
Full circle.
and he's gonna be there with me, so that's gonna be cool. And then we got our up and coming DJ Murcia too, and he's been there with me since Mansion Day, so now they're both gonna come back with me over there. So it's gonna be a good time, man. So
Nice.
No, pues la verdad, felicidades a Graciela y Angel Ramirez por el nuevo nightclub. Y igual, volviendo a hacer la invitación a toda la gente, a todos los latinos y a toda la gente que está viendo este podcast. Ya saben, el 16 va a ser solo con invitación. Pero, what about for the public? Is it going to be like the
the following week,
23rd?
Yeah.
Pues del 23 en adelante hay que ir a calar el nuevo nightclub, Downtown, The Vanquish. Porque ya vimos unas historias en sus Instagram. Para que también lo sigan en su Instagram, Photos by Graciela, y mi compa DJ Angel Ramirez. Que sigan las páginas ahí, la de Escape Nightlife, que sigan la de Rain. Así que ahí están todos los detalles, hay unas fotos ahí de cómo se va a ver el lugar, las luces, todo está chingón. Y yo sí quisiera preguntar una cosita más acerca del team, de DJ Fab and DJ Murcia. But what about the other guys? Because we know Lutz Life, we know Louis, the promoters. It's the same team that is going to be in downtown.
Yep, it's the same. So my company, Escape Nightlife, we have Escape Fridays at Rain, and right now Atrevete Saturdays, and downstairs at the Vault. So we're taking, the Saturday event, we're moving it to downtown, and we're gonna call it Escape Saturdays. So we don't want people to get confused. We're still gonna be there Friday nights at the upstairs, and then we're just moving Saturdays over to downtown.
Oh, okay.
And all your promoters. They're
Yeah,
all
all the
gonna be-
promoters and
Same
all
team.
my DJs. It's the same stuff. It's the same people. Same thing with staff. There will be some crossover staff from the owner side. From the venue side. He's gonna have, so everything works smooth and good.
Ok, bueno, pues para toda la gente, if you guys want to get a VIP table, pueden seguir mandándole mensaje a Lutz, a Louis, compa DJ Angel, así que es el mismo team y qué chingón la neta este team que se hizo, qué chingón. ¿Qué se necesita para estar adentro del team de Vanquish?
De Vanquish, pues ahorita con el equipo que tengo estoy bien, pero lo que yo busco cuando busco a alguien para mi equipo es el loyalty, man. Tienen que ser loyal, demostrar que quieren trabajar, y they have to be go-getters, like they have to work hard, they have to give it 100%, and they have to learn to be uncomfortable, to learn new things, and and being consistent. So I look for all that stuff, so I don't like working with the guys that that bounce around all over the place. It's all about being exclusive too. So that's the main things that I look for, because the same guys that I've even with Rain, those same team guys that I'm working with right now, they're still there right now. Same thing with the DJs. So those are the kind of things that I look for. Is that's just gonna be a long term.
You have to be willing to grow with you.
Yeah,
too.
and willing to grow. So
What do you think? What do you think people see in you guys, like your success, right? I mean, when you switched over from Aqua to Mansion, and then from this new project coming up, and I'm pretty damn sure it's gonna be 100% like successful. Like, what do you think people see in you guys, like for your success?
let's see.
Like your kindness with people, your like the way you treat people, or
Or like what make, or how do I say this? How do you think
Or
that
what's the
people
key?
view differently than
Yeah.
others?
Oh, I know one for you.
What?
Well,
I know
as
one
a
for
wife,
you.
tell us.
As a
Tell
wife.
us.
Well, like, I don't know if I mean, there's DJs that do end up like drinking, and it's fine as long as you're not overdoing it and are
Yeah.
being sloppy, I've noticed that Angel does not drink at all when he's working. And we don't like judge people that do. It's just him personally. I feel like he's in charge of so many aspects of the night that he keeps his mind sharp.
Yeah, you gotta
You know?
remain sharp. I mean, I did.
That's what I
I did
noticed.
do it when I was younger. When I've been,
We don't
I've
talk
been
about
doing
those days.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. But how people view of at least what I do, like when people ask me the question, like, "Oh, how do you do it?" and all of that, you also, how can I say? I'm not the type of. I mean, I'm sure you guys will meet other people and other promoters in different places or in anywhere. If they think that they're like the shit, like what I do, I'm a normal guy, I just do what I do, and I treat everybody with respect, everything.
Yeah.
If it's the bartender, if it's the bar back or the janitor, same thing with the crowd. I don't treat my VIP clients differently than I do the people that come in GA, because I've seen my GA people turn into how can I say, into VIP clients as they grow in life, And same thing with other DJs. Every DJ that I meet, I'm cool with them, because I always learn to be humble and don't think you're better than anybody else. Someone always can teach you something new, and you guys can always learn from each other. So I think that's probably one of the things that makes me have success, is not trying to be somebody that you're not, and like just trying to run with it. I always remain humble, always remain a student of the game, always learning something new. So I think that's my personality. I'm more of an introvert. So if you see me at the club, you're not going to see me partying with people, I could be at, if I have a table, I'll be at the table and I can be watching everybody. Or if I am, I have certain guests that come, I pour the drinks for the guest and everything, So it's definitely a different mindset. Some people, and I've seen a lot of, DJs or promoters get into this game and they can't do it because all that's available to them, from the drinking, from everything, they can't control themselves, So
that kind of clouds your judgment.
Yeah.
I feel.
So you have to treat this like a job, and it is, and this provides for our family. So I think that's the difference. I don't treat this like I'm going out Friday and Saturday, I'm gonna go party, So I treat it like a job, Yeah. So it's a profession. I mean, I've been doing this so long that, if I had to make it work. If it didn't work, you know, it's like anybody. They go to school for 4 years, 8 years. You have to make it work.
Yeah.
The only thing you don't get is a certificate with this, you know. But we built
Can make you one.
yeah, we built something, and you know, getting the support from home too. You know, with my wife, you know, she holds it down there too, and you know, she believes in the stuff that I do, and you know, it's just it's a good time. You know, I'm in it for the ride right now, and you know, we're 30. I don't know how much longer I can do it for, and you know, we're just doing different things and just keep learning. You know, so but right now I'm enjoying it as I go. You know, it doesn't feel like a job.
What about as a couple? You know, para las nuevas generaciones que the wife, she has, you know, like profession, and the guy is, you know, like maybe a musician, and the wife is like makeup artist or photographer. ¿Cómo tú le dirías a esas nuevas generaciones que vienen creciendo el consejo de ustedes dos, de Chela y de DJ Angel, para que sean successful en la vida?
Juntos.
Oh,
As a couple.
As a couple.
Let's hear it, Angel.
pues que se soporten, pues lo que ellos, el apoyo de cada uno. Más importante, si quieren salir adelante con lo que les gusta hacer, tienen que, ¿cómo se dice? Hacer todas las cosas bien. Si significa que cuando vas a abre tu negocio en la manera que se tiene que abrir, no nomás hagas el trabajo y esconden el dinero. Tienen que hacer todo bien. Si tienes que reportar, pagar tus taxes, todo.
Yeah, because there's a lot of couples, DJ Conde, que vienen con todo, con sus negocios, girls de 16, 17, que ya tienen su business de lashes y andan con un musician o con un DJ. Y la verdad aquí estamos viendo a una pareja que han crecido juntos y que son un ejemplo a seguir. Nosotros como esposos, en este caso, hemos platicado algunas veces de Angel y de Chela y decimos, wow, esa pareja es de admirar. La verdad, sí quisiera también yo que Chela nos diera aquí un consejito para todos los jóvenes.
Trust is a big thing. You can't be this jealous little wife every time your husband goes out and DJs, and he can't be a jealous freak every time I have to go take pictures of somebody. You know, trust is the utmost important thing. Being secure in yourself, like knowing that you're priceless, basically. Like he can go and find somebody else, you know, one of them little hood rats out in the club somewhere, but it ain't gonna be me, you know. So I mean, just not having that mindset, that limiting mindset that your husband is gonna go out and cheat, or that your wife is gonna go out and cheat. You know, being secure that your spouse loves you and he's doing something to provide for you or provide with you. You know, not just I'm not basing, you know, my life on. I'm not waiting for him to make things happen. We're making things happen together.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody's talked about it in your show, like if they're entrepreneurs and all, but you know, if they're young or even old, if you're gonna do this as a full time, you need to treat it like a real job. How do you go from working your full time job and making this into your your new full time job? Yeah. Well, you have to know how, you have to know a little bit of financial literacy. Yes. Everything, you know, hey man, credit cards, all that. Yeah, and most importantly, how to do your, taxes. Like I would say, invest into a CPA. Let your CPA run your books. Let them do all that, and you just focus on your passion. But that's very important for any entrepreneur. How are you gonna get stuff in life? Like, so say you do leave your job at an early age. How are you gonna get that new car? How are you gonna get your house?
Or a second house.
Yeah. We're happy to say that we got our home with our passion. Like, here's our Ramirez Media Corporation taxes. Here's all of that. So that's what I try to tell all these young guys. Like, I'm like, hey man, don't think like when people tell you go hide your money. And,
that's the worst. Oh, you're gonna get a lot back in taxes. Yeah, but what are you gonna have to show for it?
Yeah. So teach them that, hey, your credit has to be good. But do you know there's also such things called business credit? You know, if you got business credit, man, you're doing really good. So I try to teach that all to the young guys. You know, like, man, you have to do all these steps, and it's gonna take you far in life, man. So I just say get their business straight. Like I said, get your insurance, hire a CPA, pay your taxes, have something to show for it. Because what's the point of doing this if you don't do it the right way? It's just a hobby.
Yeah.
Just a hobby.
Learn the difference between a sole proprietorship, an LLC, and a corporation, and why you should open up either one of those. So like for you, do you have an LLC or are you still
Yeah.
So I mean, you're already on the right track. Once you start having
Registered
a
to
bigger, once you have like a bigger team and you start making more money, then it might benefit your company to open up a corporation. But then can you explain a little bit about like the tax situation with that? Because I know with like LLC and sole proprietorships, you have to pay in at the end of the year versus a corporation, you can
pay
get it
every month,
the taxes get taken out every month.
And you save money as an S corporation, but you have to pay yourself a salary. You know, you have to pay yourself a salary, and then from there, the way you can actually save money. We can just give an example. If someone that had an LLC made $100,000 and someone that made an S corp $100,000, you pay 15% on an LLC in taxes, so that's $15,000. But if you actually did it in an S corp and you made $100,000 and you paid yourself salary of $50,000, and then the other one you took distributions of funds out, you only have to pay the 15% on the salary. You don't have to pay it on the overall. So there's different ways and different things that you learn. But I mean, I just feel for Latinos, or anybody, you just got to learn the business side of it too. It's not just about when you get this far into it, you can't just get this far just by the passion of whatever industry you're in. You have to know about the business side too. And once you figure that out, the business side, and then everything else that you do, the advertisement, everything just falls together into place.
Finding a mentor to be able to guide you, because I mean, we had to do this on our own, and I only ended up getting a mentor when I got older, so I was probably like 20.
Yeah, we didn't do it right from the beginning.
No,
yeah,
I had
we
a
learned
mentor,
from our mistakes,
like how to actually price correctly and how to make money, like real money, instead of leaving things on the table. So I mean, there's a lot of things that slip through the cracks when you're just going off of passion alone. You have to get educated on the business side of things, and that's one of the biggest tips I would say is try to find a mentor, whether you're a DJ, whether you're a photographer, makeup artist. Find someone whose work you admire, and like pay for the classes, pay for the lessons, education. Don't just expect everything to just be given to you, but finding those people that are willing to share what they know and building relationships, because my relationship with you could lead to a client. My relationship with a client could get you booked. So that reciprocity, it goes both ways. I think that's the word. I don't know. I'm making things up.
We'll Google it.
Yeah, Googlearlo. So I mean, I guess that's always staying humble and just being helpful, because you never know where the next gig could come from, or the next best thing could be from somebody that they remembered how you treated them.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. I've worked with people that were bartenders and now they're like vice presidents of that connection is what made Rain happen for me. So always stay, with anybody that you're working with, treat them right, and you just never know, they're gonna remember you. I remember this guy treated me right, or one day, a server, I ended up doing her daughter's quinceañera like years later because she remembers me, and so it's crazy. Just build relationships. And always in front of people, be the best person that you can be in front of them, so I guess
be yourself too. I mean, if you're weird, like embrace the weird.
So.
Otra cosa que yo y mi compa Conde también estábamos viendo de la entrevista de Latin Evolution Radio fue algo que me gustó de Angel, que dijo estas palabras acerca de, ahorita que estamos hablando poco de dinero, dijo Angel, el money will come eventually. You gotta keep working. Por mientras, viejón. Así que esa frase me gustó mucho porque hoy en día, compa Conde, la gente piensa que ya nomás haciendo algo, they're gonna get a lot of money, they're gonna get rich, they're gonna be, like on social media with Gucci, Fendi, and a lot of shit, that it's not real. Pero esa frase me gustó mucho que la dijo ahí, y por eso estoy haciendo referencia con el compa JC Campos, ahí lo dijo en la entrevista, y me gustó mucho la forma de pensar de Angel porque, como lo dijo, él viene desde abajo. Vimos en la entrevista que anduviste pegando flyers en los carros, va aprendiendo de tu papá en el restaurante también. Así que es un gran ejemplo para toda la gente que nos está viendo ahí. Échenle ganas, machín, porque no se llega de la noche a la mañana. No. La verdad es mucho trabajo. Y como pareja, lo vuelvo a repetir, son admirables.
Gracias.
Thank
you.
Yeah, and I just posted something like that on Twitter today. Que puse algo así más o menos. Puse, this generation these days want everything to happen, success to happen overnight. Yeah, and I put on hashtags patience. You know, it takes time. You know, and so I meet, like I said, I meet all these young kids that want it overnight, or they want to get paid these big bucks. I'm like, man, it's not gonna happen.
You got to put in work.
Yeah, you got to put in a lot of work. You know, so yeah, it just takes time. You just keep grinding, and you know the opportunity will come. So, and when it's there, you better take it. So.
Es correcto. DJ Conde didn't get to Columbus en Cancún de la noche a la mañana. Estaba haciendo private events. Liz Jordan, she didn't get to the best weddings, you know, con los mejores productores, con los mejores fotógrafos. O sea, no llegó de la noche, maquilló gente y le echó a perder la cara ahí poco a poco. Ya nos contó también para que vayan a ver su entrevista. Y alguna de las experiencias, alguna anécdota que ustedes tengan. Hace ratito Graciela mencionó que en un funeral.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, two.
Cuéntanos un poquito de eso, por favor.
Well, I remember in your interview, you did makeup for someone, and that just kind of like trauma, emotional damage, you know, like that just kind of reminded me of that. One of them was for a little girl who was 11 who died of childhood cancer, I believe. And they hired us to do photos and video for that. Era una familia de Nicaragua, yo recuerdo. And they had family members in Nicaragua that weren't going to be able to come. So I remember that one we did together, and it was very hard because it almost felt like it was an invasion of privacy. ¿Quién quiere que, you know, recording and taking pictures when you're like crying and just, it was tough.
I didn't even know it was a funeral. I couldn't understand the guy. Yeah, so, and then we showed up and we're at a church and I see the casket. I'm like, oh, what are we doing?
And it's a little girl. Like, it was heartbreaking because like, I think that's when I realized the importance of what we do, because we're always capturing happy moments, but sometimes tragedy happens. That's how life is. And then having to capture those heartbreaking moments for this family, they were grateful, you know,
to get closure.
Yeah, like it helped them grieve, and that was really hard. I remember like hiding behind the flowers because I was like just crying. You know, I mean, it was a little girl. And Angel couldn't sleep until he was done doing the video. He's like, this
I can't even sleep right now. Yeah.
Like, this little girl's haunting me. I have to finish
I couldn't
this.
sleep, so I had to finish it. I just felt I would dream about the girl. So I'm like,
and
I gotta
then
finish it.
like the other one was a woman that lived a life well lived in service of others. So that one, it didn't like hit me as hard because she had a long, beautiful life. And people were talking about their experiences with her, and it wasn't a child, it was an older woman, you know? So, I mean, that one, it didn't hit me as bad, but, you know, when tragedy strikes and when people pass away, it's your loved one, you just put yourself in their shoe, like, would I want this for my family? And you have to treat it with the utmost respect, because you never know when you're in that situation.
And some people will look at us weird, huh?
Yeah,
because we have the big cameras.
I'm just here doing my job, you know? But, like, even though I probably won't do another one, if the occasion arose, I probably will take it, just because I know that that's going to help a family find closure, you know?
Significant to someone in the family.
And what about like a beautiful, you know, like anécdota, una experiencia bonita en la industria del DJ o en la industria del videos y fotos?
Well, aparte de la discoteca, antes de tocar en las discotecas, pues tocaba yo en muchas bodas, quinceañeras, y algo que nunca se me va a olvidar es cuando me dedicaba a pura bodas, me contrataban en diferentes lugares. Me tocó ir a tocar en Nuevo México, en Las Cruces.
Yeah, I remember that when you went.
Y con todo mi equipo across, you know, de Minnesota, fui a Nuevo México, me contrataron porque a ellos les gustaba cómo yo tocaba, you know. Para mí en ese tiempo, I'm like, wow, lo estoy haciendo, estoy yendo a diferentes lugares a ir a tocar. Y fui a tocar a Wisconsin, como en Green Bay. Fui a Nueva York, a diferentes... Latin Mix.
That was fun.
Sí, en esos tiempos, y cuando en California me tocó ir a tocar enfrente de mi público donde yo vivía antes, y eso para mí era algo que nunca se me va a olvidar.
Yeah, that's nice.
You see, like, you know, you grow up in, you know, a certain town. And it's like in the movies, you go back to your old town, and, you know, like the people that know you as a DJ, and they're like, oh man, he's gonna go DJ at one of the clubs out here. So that was pretty cool for me. I mean, just for me that we're able to do this, I always tell people, and I mean, maybe this will be a good one to stick here too, is like, if you're paying your bills from what you like to do, like your passion, you're already successful, you know? So that's what I think. Like if you can, if it's going towards your bill and you don't have anything extra left over, it's fine. You just paid your, you know, your mortgage or your rent with what you know, you like to do. So and I mean, when you go full time like us, that's what our money goes to. It goes to our personal bills and, you know, and whatever else there's left over.
From our company.
We get our own paycheck from ourselves, but
feels good.
It feels good, but that's what I tell people, bro. If you're paying your bills with what you like to do, and it's not just extra money, you're already making it. You know, you just you know, that's it. So, I mean,
very inspiring, dude. Honestly,
it is. It's really inspiring, and to be honest, I can relate to that. I feel like, I mean, I'm married, so for me to do this for my spouse as well, and for us to be a team, like how we admire you guys, that's amazing.
I admire you. Seriously, like whenever people hire me, they're like, "Oh, do you know any makeup artists?" I'm like, "Do I? I know quite a few at the top of my list. Here's who I have." Yeah, and even like I've asked for your business cards, and like whenever I have to meet with a client, I make sure that I plug you in. I love your work. You know, after a while in this business, you start noticing people's work.
Yeah.
And one of them, I remember like which one? I remember when you did Wendy's makeup for like a shoot. And remember we talked a little bit like, did I put too much blush? I'm like, no, it was perfect.
Oh yeah,
it was on point.
So worried. I was like,
it was
oh
on
my
point.
God.
So I mean, like I've noticed your growth from when you started, and you know, doing the makeup on brides, and so whenever people ask me, I proudly share your information because you just are top notch. I love it. Yeah.
No, pues Conde, creo que aquí tenemos pura calidad, ¿verdad? De latino.
Yep.
Latino gang, la verdad, de los mejores que están aquí en Minneapolis, en Minnesota. DJ Angel Ramirez, Photos by Graciela, and Liz Jordan 25. Así que, más aparte, era mi compa DJ Conde allá en la orilla.
No quiero más.
Yo me siento afortunado de estar aquí al lado de puro chingón, la verdad. Y mis respetos para ustedes, mis respetos para DJ Conde, mis respetos para mi esposa Liz Jordan, la verdad. Qué chingón era tener la dicha de yo estar sentado aquí con pura celebridad de latino y de los mejores, la neta. Mi respeto. I got one more question for Angel. What about the boat party from last year?
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
So I had that idea before the pandemic, but I just, you know, I held off because of all the mask restrictions and everything. But I always had this idea, you know, let's do this big boat party. You know, Latin music on one floor. Mexican, because, you know, that's my culture. I always bring back my culture one way or another. And, you know, let's do a Mexican dance floor, you know, bring a couple of groups and a DJ. And then the main floor, kind of more of a lounge area. And so I thought of that idea, but once that happened, it kind of just, you know, fell off. And then I said, well, I still have, you know, in September, we can still kind of get away with it. And I said, I think it was Labor Day weekend. Is it Labor Day weekend?
Yeah,
is there Labor Day. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I called the place. They told me we have something available, but it's at 10 in the morning. I'm like, shit. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I'm like, I still want to do it. I'll say, fuck it. I'm going to try it. And so I booked it. Once I booked it, I called. I was talking to DJ LED, El Tiburon, like during the pandemic. And I told him, I'm going to bring you out here. So that weekend, you know, I brought him out to the vault at Rain. And then we did the boat party, and then we did a day party after. But the boat party, you know, I called up everybody that I knew. I called up Hugo Huerta. He said he was down. I called Cachorro. He said he was down too. And I brought my own sound system. You know, I split it up. I took the sound system upstairs and downstairs. And what else did we do? And then I brought, you know, DJ Giovanni, DJ Christian Baca, who else? DJ, you know, Murcia, DJ James. No, I think I brought someone else. But, I mean, I just brought a lot of people, you know. You know, it wasn't really about making the money. Like I said, I want to do a fun event. I mean, I still made profit. It was still a profitable event. It was good. I guess what surprised me the most was that we were able to get over 200 people on a boat on a Sunday at 10 in the morning. Some people missed it. Some people missed it.
Because it was in still water.
Yeah.
And to find the parking, I remember me and Conde, we were like...
We were there,
Yeah, we were running because the boat was... It was on time, right?
Yeah. So I told the guy, hey, you got to hold on. You know, let's give it 30 more minutes. So people were still getting on. And after that, so you're going to lose a lot of time on the water. I'm like, it's fine. Let's wait a little bit. So we didn't leave until midday, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was still cool. It was fun. Once the boat started moving, everybody was drunk already.
They felt the waves and stuff.
Yeah. And then, I would go up and down.
Sickness.
Yeah, I would go up and down the stairs, and I'll see people having a good time at the regional dance floor. They were dancing, having a good time. I'll go upstairs. Everybody's, just vibing out there too, dancing. And then downstairs was more of a lounge area. And I took the videographers that we use for our weddings and stuff, and it was a good time, a good concept. I'm trying to do it this year. I'm not sure though, because now I just got an email from them that their price went up like triple, and at the end of the day, it's a business, so you at least want to make something out of it. So, and it's just because they said gas went up, and then you have to hire security and all of that, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. If everything makes sense, we're gonna do it again.
Does anybody have a yacht we can borrow?
It's because the date that
I have a friend that has a yacht, so
Yeah.
like,
No way.
the date that they have available for me, I really want to do it because it's in the evening. It's like at 5 p.m. So it'll be from 5 till 10, and it works out for me because I have a wedding the day before on that same boat.
Okay.
So I just want to leave. I told them, can I leave my stuff there? I mean, I'll move it out of the way and then stay at a hotel around there and then go back the next day. So it might still happen, but I don't know yet. If it does, it'll be in the summer. So.
Pues
Nice,
ojalá. Por mientras hay que ir a esos lugares, al Rain y al Vanquish, a apoyar aquí al compa Angel. ¿Para qué? Para que en el summer nos dé la sorpresa de un boat party. Imagínate, Conde, en el atardecer, toro.
no, estaría chido.
I'd have to
That'd
buy
be
the
nice.
It's a good date.
floating.
It's a good date too, man. So
Just
I
to be
just
safe.
have to make
Yeah,
sure.
hopefully it happens.
Yeah.
And then honestly, we'll be there.
So that was the first
Supporting.
time,
That was my first time, and it was at the end of the year, so that's why I didn't do another one.
but it was the
Okay.
first time for Latinos, on a boat. Or
I
did-
think there's some other people that do it, but it's more just reggaeton. I actually thought about all the Latinos,
Yeah.
not just reggaeton music. I said regional music too. I kind of left the salseros out.
Yeah.
I don't like salsa. So,
Gotta be honest.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay,
Yeah.
but it's not my vibe. Why would I want to, get into something that's not my,
Sure.
it's not my cup of tea. So I just focus on, the Latin urban music, and that's the same thing at Rain and at Vanquish. When we tell people our Latin nights, they're Latin urban, because then, it's more of that reggaeton stuff. So same thing with the boat party. We'll do that, and we'll do the regional mexicano, and maybe a hip hop room too. So I think that's the only thing I would do different. I'm gonna do hip hop, so on a smaller room. So
How was the contact with DJ LED El Tiburon? How was that?
it was all through Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we're cool right now, man. I think he's my cousin, or I think he's Chela's cousin.
Yeah,
'cause-
he's from
we're
Jalisco.
related.
Yeah.
Dallas,
He's from the
Jalisco,
same exact place where
same-
Really?
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
Angel was telling him about the certain places, he's like, "Yeah, I know that place." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Well, what the heck? The little pueblito is small, so chances are we might be cousins."
Yeah,
I gotta
so
ask my aunt, like,
LED is really
who's
cool.
his
Yeah.
parents?
I'm bringing him out again this year, and we're just gonna call it like a DJ LED tour. So I'm gonna take him to Rain on Friday and then to Vanquish on Saturday. So we're still trying to figure out a date for that, but he's gonna come back. If he comes to Minnesota, he comes exclusively with me and stuff.
Yep.
So
I remember one time I was on TikTok and he was live because I watch him live, and then he mentioned his time here
yeah.
when he was at the boat party, and he said he might come back. So it's
Yeah, so-
pretty cool. I thought he was from Central America or something like that at
No,
first.
he's Mexican.
And then and then he said he was Mexican, so I was like
And
from Jalisco.
Indiana too, like where people from my town, Tala and San Juan de los Arcos, when they emigrated, those people from that town, they live like in Shelbyville, Indiana. And I'm
Really?
like,
That's
what are the odds?
That's
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds? I mean, now I'm curious. Like, dude,
To the
No,
family
yeah.
tree.
like,
And
what
you know,
the
also
heck,
he's from Indiana. He lives.
Yeah,
That's where he lives.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where he lives.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
he's blowing up on TikTok. He has over
Oh, yeah.
100,000.
Yeah.
And he's still humble, man. Like, the guy calls me and everything, and like you got to build those relationships, and if it's from the start of their career, like the people will grow. I've worked with a lot of people or met people. As soon as they start getting a little bit popular, se hacen que no te
Se hacen que no te
conocen.
conocen.
Yeah, I hate that
Yeah.
shit. So I'm happy to say that he's humble.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
so.
Sevek is really humble, so it's like really cool.
Yeah, but hopefully,
I still have a picture with him.
Yeah.
Boat.
Yeah. So hopefully we make it happen on the boat again. So
Yeah.
we'll see though.
that'd be fun.
What about you, Chela? Are you like interested in being out there too, like in these clubs, or
I ain't about that
parties?
life.
No?
I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I'll go for like the opening stuff,
Yeah.
but like I did my time. Like I did my time. I remember taking pictures, and I would have like, I mean, I'm not exactly like, you know, the hottest thing, but like drunk guys would be like grabbing me, and women would be trying to fight me for taking pictures of their partner, you know, and I'm just like, no, mine is over there, and he'll kick your ass out if you keep on disrespecting me. Like, it's hard being a photographer, a female photographer
At
in
a
the
club.
nightclub, you know, because you're dealing with all that crap.
And
then,
bartenders también,
yeah,
no?
también. And then people would be spilling their drinks on my camera, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude.
The
like,
equipment expensive, too.
Yeah, you know. And I mean, I'll go for special events, and if he really needs me, I'll go. You know, I'll do it.
So are you gonna be there for the
Yes.
Vanquish
Yep, I'm gonna be there
Okay.
for the invite only.
invite? Okay.
Yep, I think they're gonna do like a little step and repeat type of thing where,
Yeah.
where you know when they come in, it's like the red carpet treatment. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
whole gown and stuff too.
Mhm. Like I got some new heels for that, so you know I ain't gonna be moving around. I'm gonna be standing right there. I'm not gonna move at all.
Look extra cute.
Well, I'm gonna, I don't know, we'll see. I brought my little flats. Who knows?
No, pues, ¿qué te parece, Angel, si invitas a la gente al nuevo nightclub, que les des la primicia aquí, como ya nos las diste hace ratito? Tú puedes invitarlos en inglés, en español, para todos los latinos, para toda la diversidad de culturas que hay aquí, para que vayan a apoyar este nuevo concepto de nightclub, que la neta viene con todos los poderes.
Sí. Pues me gusta invitar a todos para abril 16. Va a ser nuestro evento de invitados. Y aquí en el Punto MN les voy a dar un special link para que ellos se lo puedan mandar a todos sus seguidores. Y ellos van a tener acceso para que les dé la invitación a ustedes. Y esperamos que todos vayan ese día. Va a ser de edad 21 para arriba. Si van a querer mesa VIP, me pueden hablar. Y esto va a ser un nuevo concepto en Downtown Minneapolis. Espero que les guste. Y la invitación está para ustedes. Inviten a toda la gente que gusten. Y va a ser un buen tiempo. Ahí los esperamos.
What's the number you can call?
What's
Number, your number for reservations?
Para el número de teléfono pueden hablar al 612-961-4421.
Y si no, también lo pasan ahí.
What about social media?
Social media pueden seguir la página Escape Nightlife en todas las plataformas. Y ahí se los mando lo que es. Y mi página mía personal de DJing es Angel Ramirez Mpls. Y tenemos la página de Vanquish Mpls o Vanquish Nightlife, Rain Nightlife. Y así, ahí los pueden buscar para todo. ¿Sí? O escapenightlife.com y ahí sale toda la información.
And what about your YouTube? Is it still active or yeah, no?
My old YouTube, I can't log into it no more.
Forget the password.
Yeah, no, it's one of the older ones. I started when it was like YouTube was new, and I can't log into it, so I can't even get I can't even get the subscriptions from that. But my new one that I made, I noticed cumbias do really good on there, so I did a cumbia mix, and that one I think has 65,000. I mean, that's pretty good for this new generation.
If you Google DJ Drippin' Ice, it might pop up.
No, the YouTube page still pops out, but I can't log in and do anything from it. But yeah, and then for our wedding business, I mean, you can still look us up as on Facebook as Ramirez Media Productions. Is it that? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So many pages.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, my new Facebook. Yeah, like I got hacked. So, but for weddings, I still do like 10 weddings a year. So if anybody wants to hire me to do, I still do weddings for DJing, and that's it. Just DJing, and my wife still does photography for weddings, and if we get to work together, it's cool, and if we don't, we understand too.
So you said you still have like 3 spots left?
Yeah, for this year.
For this year?
Yeah, that's it.
So what about Chela? Can you invite all the people that wants a photo shoot, que te sigan en las redes, que te manden un mensaje?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like,
Your website.
please message me. So I mean, on Facebook, my normal one, my personal or my business one, it's what is it?
Photos by Graciela.
Photos by Graciela. Yeah, ves, I don't even know.
I tag you a lot.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
how I know.
yeah. My website is www.photosbygraciela.com. You can see my work there, and you can fill out the contact form. I can get back to you as soon as possible, or you just find me on Facebook too. Graciela R. Rivas Photography. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, guys, thanks for coming in. Thanks for accepting the invite. El Punto MN, aka The Point. I'm gonna start saying that.
Pues fíjate que yo a la gente le he dicho que en español es el punto MN y en inglés es el punto MN. Esa la quería soltar desde hace tiempo. Se me hizo buena esa. Pero don't forget to follow el punto MN, subscribe, like and share. Sigan a mi compa DJ Conde, ya saben, lo encuentran los viernes y sábados en
Cancun Nightclub.
Y el domingo.
And Columbus.
What about Liz Jordan?
Follow me on social media. My Instagram is LizJordan25. My Facebook is Lizbeth Jordan. And here we are at your service.
Así que esto fue otro capítulo más del Punto MN con nuestro compa DJ Angel Ramirez, su esposa Graciela. Síganlos, Foros by Graciela, mi compa DJ Angel Ramirez. Ya saben, si los ven en Rain, si los ven en Vanquish, mándenle un saludito, tag, una fotito. Y esto fue todo, otro capítulo más del Punto MN. Gracias.
Thank you, guys.
Gracias. Thank you.